So here's some news from Mallorca. It's 27th of April 2021, and I thought I'd just give you some updates of what's going on, in particular the new restrictions which came into force last weekend. So one of the main things really was that the curfew was lifted from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Might seem a small change to lift the curfew just 1 hour, but that was to enable restaurants to open in the evening. So bars and restaurants are now enabled to open from 8 p.m. to 10:30, and that way the restaurants can serve dinner in the evening. So that's a really good news for them. This is only available Monday to Thursday. Weekends, that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they still have to close at 5 p.m. and they all have to close their interiors. Interiors are not open. So great news for the restaurant trade. These restrictions will be in place until May the 9th. May the 9th is a key date in Spain. It's when the state of alarm ends. The state of alarm was declared before Easter last year, and it had several extensions, and the last extension was until May the 9th of this year. And the President of Spain has said he does not want to extend the state of alarm any further. So the national restrictions will end. So a consequence of the end of the state of alarm means that the President of the Baleares will no longer be able to have her curfew, at least not under the state of alarm. If she wants to have a curfew, she's going to have to apply to the High Court. Now I imagine that the High Court will say yes, you can keep your curfew, and she's very keen to keep the curfew. She's being very cautious in the way that she relieves us of our restrictions. Cars driving up, apologies for that. So 9th of May, after the 9th of May, all of the restrictions end as far as the national government is concerned, and for the local government they're going to have to apply to the High Court in order to have any new restrictions. So what's going to come after that? Well, again, we don't know. The next key date is May the 17th, and this is really for people in the UK. That's when your travel ban effectively ends. And we still don't know the details of that, though it has been suggested that sometime this next weekend, at the beginning of May, that Boris Johnson and his government will actually announce what's going to happen after May the 17th. One of the things that they're proposing is this traffic light system of a green, amber, red. And there were reports in the press here, the local press, that we would be on the green list. I've looked everywhere and I can't find any confirmation of that. Maybe it was wishful thinking, but it was actually printed in the press. One thing that the government here are pushing is the vaccine passport. If you've been vaccinated, they're suggesting that you won't need to be in quarantine, you won't even need to have the PCR test. So the vaccine passport could be important for travellers this summer. It won't stop you travelling, because if you have a PCR test a few hours before the actual travel, up to 72 hours I think it is at the moment, then you'll be able to travel. But PCR tests are expensive. The advert I saw in the newspaper here said €90, so perhaps for one person, but for a family that's going to be quite expensive. The vaccination progress here in Mallorca is moving ahead a little bit slowly. I had my vaccination last Wednesday. I'm in my age group now for vaccinations. I should have had it maybe earlier because I'm a teacher, and teachers are in the one of the groups that are being vaccinated a little bit earlier, but it actually came to my age group, so I booked a vaccination, went to have it done, no problems at all very efficient, but very few people there. They must have booths where they could vaccinate maybe 30 people at a time. Only 3 were actually being used. That's the problem here. It's the shortage of vaccines. They're coming through, but they're coming through very slowly. The latest report is they're going to move now down to the over 50s. So from next month, over 50s will be invited to have their vaccination. One thing that's been in the press in the UK, been in the press here, and even in the New York Times, was concerned a man in Majorca who's been arrested because he's a super spreader. He went to work with COVID symptoms, and 22 people caught the virus from him. So he's been arrested, he's appeared before a judge, and he's likely to face a possible jail term for what he's done. Bang news update is from Hugh Elliott. He's the British ambassador, and he's paying his first visit to Mallorca today. So he's actually here now meeting with the President of the Baleares, and he's here primarily to discuss holidays for the British people this summer. So he's having his meeting with the President of the Baleares, and they will be talking about all of the things that we've been mentioning, the green, amber, red system for travelling and vaccines, vaccine passports and the like, and hopefully in the next day or two we'll get some information from that. At the moment it's only essential travel, and another local celebrity is being caught up in that, Margaret Whittaker, who's the owner of Slimming World in the UK but also owns various businesses here in Majorca, and she wanted to come back to Mallorca in order to attend to her businesses, and she's been refused entry as it's only essential trips. So even the rich and famous are finding it difficult to get to Mallorca. In some sad news, Real Mallorca lost last night 1-0 to second bottom place Sabadell. Good news for Sabadell, that's lifted them up a few places, but Real Mallorca feeling a bit jittery now as the season comes towards its end. We've only got 6 matches left, and they really need to pick up their form if they're ever going to get back up to La Liga. Weather, just to finish off with the weather forecast, it's been pretty good today. It started off a bit dull, but it's certainly brightened up, and we're on the terrace now at 6 o'clock in the evening, and it's 20 degrees, so it's really quite pleasant. The next couple of days, something similar, sun and cloud. And just one little extra, it's tonight we've got this super moon. I'm a scientist, so always interested in things like that. So if you watch here in Mallorca, it's about 9:20 here in Palma. You can be able to see this super moon. It's going to be the second biggest moon of the year, so look out for that. If you haven't seen our latest videos, we went to the gardens in Alfabia at the weekend. They were beautiful, really well worth a visit, near to the entrance of the Soller tunnel. And we went to the flea market in Consell. So if you haven't caught those videos yet, have a look on the YouTube channel, and also the 360 channel if you're into looking at 360 virtual reality. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.